All right, Chase Sr. here. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. Niners training camp officially underway, and there is a lot of news and developments that we need to talk about here over the course of the next several minutes. A programming reminder earlier today, the Niners did make a roster move in signing wide receiver Equanimeous St. Brown, the brother of Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a taller player than his brother, but his brother is one of the top wide receivers in the game, whereas Equanimeous has had trouble producing throughout his NFL career and staying with teams, but he could be a practice squad candidate once the season comes around. 6'5", really good speed coming out of Notre Dame in the pre-draft process, hovering around a 4.5 40-yard dash. He's also a really good run blocker. The 49ers worked out 6 wide receivers yesterday, so clearly they looked at that position and said, we need to make a move there with all of the question marks and depth concerns at that position. And so Equanimeous signed on day one of Niners training camp. A reminder to hit that subscribe button because whenever there's breaking news, I have you covered. And if you want Niners coverage coming your way every single day, lock us in. Anytime I'm talking San Francisco, I want our shows to be insightful, informative, thought-provoking, entertaining. I always want you to have a voice. Preseason is going to be here in a couple of weeks. We'll be doing preseason watch parties. Regular season after that, we'll be doing regular season watch parties. We're talking news, updates, reactions, coverage, and a whole lot more. Join the more than 163,000 people who have already subscribed and do so right now. All right, let's begin here. Latest Brandon Aiyuk injury update with training camp here. General Manager John Lynch said, quote, we're not anywhere close to having a concrete timeline for when we know he'll make his return to the lineup. Am I surprised that John Lynch said this? No, not really. He tore his ACL and his MCL and had structural damage in that knee in October of last year in that loss against the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl rematch, which was once again ugly for the Niners. And I always anticipated Aiyuk coming back around the midway point of the 2025 season, given the severity of that injury. And I know a lot of people look at Stephon Diggs, who signed with the New England Patriots, and you're saying, he's cleared. He's already practicing. He tore his ACL. What's the deal with that? He only tore his ACL. This Aiyuk injury was really, really severe. As bad as it could have been, especially given the circumstances of the fact that he just signed that contract, it was as bad as it could have been. But here's the thing that's a little bit of a bummer, right? Matt Maiocco, NBC Sports Bay Area, a couple of weeks ago, was on the radio, and he said that Aiyuk was ahead of schedule, that he was progressing very well, and most likely was going to start the year on PUP, meaning he would miss the first 4 weeks of the season. But Maiocco also said there's a chance that Aiyuk could be ready for week 1. Now we can put that to bed. BA will not be available healthy enough for San Francisco to start the year. Now, they could survive without him for a few weeks, but he will not start the year as a healthy player for San Francisco. Here's what John Lynch had to say about the Niners' number 1 wide receiver, and hopefully he can get back to that 2023 All-Pro form. He did a lot to his knee, and I would tell you that he's in a really good place considering all that. What does that mean in terms of a timeline and all that? We're continuing to assess and get information. I think we're encouraged on where he is at, but not anywhere close to having a set in-stone timeline. And this 49ers wide receiver situation is murky, to put it simple. Brandon Aiyuk, torn ACL, MCL. Ricky Pearsall, an update on him coming up in a moment. He's starting training camp on PUP. He'll miss at least the first 3 practices. Jauan Jennings did report. We're not going to see a holdout. We'll see if he holds in. The Niners do anticipate him being on the practice field, but according to Adam Schefter, he basically told the Niners, trade me or pay me. And the Niners are also not sure what happens with DeMarcus Robinson. Is he going to get suspended because of that DUI arrest? And so early on in camp, a great opportunity for this offense to work on synergy, continuity, camaraderie. Not going to have some of their top wide receivers. And so Brock Purdy is going to have to work a lot with the likes of Jacob Cowing, Jordan Watkins, Isaiah Neyor, DeMarcus Robinson, Tariq Owens, and others. Equinemius St. Brown probably going to be in the equation as well. As for Ricky Pearsall, this situation is just weird, man. Shanahan said that Pearsall had, quote, a bad hamstring injury in OTAs. Then he said, I mean, not real bad, a normal one. What? It's getting to the point where we just cannot trust anything that Kyle Shanahan says, because during OTAs, he had said, we're just being safe with Pearsall. He could have practiced if we really needed him to. He will be ready for the start of training camp. But then last Friday, we talked about the news here on the show that he would start training camp on PUP. So clearly he's not healthy enough. Clearly then he wasn't healthy enough. And now it comes out from Shanahan that the hamstring injury was a bad one. Then Shanahan was probably like, I shouldn't have said that. Not bad. I mean a normal one. You said a bad hamstring. It's probably a bad hamstring, which is a concern because last summer he had a hamstring issue as well. Shanahan on Pearsall. He's good now. He's hit all of his miles per hour. He's fine. We just haven't seen him the last 2 weeks. We're not going to throw a wideout out there the first 3 days. We don't want him to pull it again until we see his conditioning and everything, which we should get there in 3 days. He should be good. At this point, I would be very surprised if we see Ricky Pearsall on that fourth practice. I think that he could be out for a bit. I would not be surprised if that happens. Some good news here. Jauan Jennings did report to Niners training camp, and with the injury to Pearsall, the injury to Aiyuk, even if Pearsall was healthy, Jauan Jennings still might be wide receiver one on this team. He had a really good rapport working last year with Brock Purdy en route to a career season. 975 yards. His touchdown production was really good, and he continued to be an extremely clutch player for this Niners offense. It's great that he's not holding out. We'll see if he holds in. The Niners general manager, John Lynch, saying this. I won't speak for Jauan, but we had a good visit with him. We anticipate him being out there. You guys know our feelings on JJ. He embodies what we think a Niner is all about, plays the right way, and we love him. How many times have I said that here on this show? All that stuff. We're not going to get into the contract talks and all that. That takes care of itself, but we love him, and he's here. Of note, Jauan Jennings' agent is Drew Rosenhaus, one of the most well-known agents in the game. He is not going to allow his client to get underpaid. Brock Purdy today pretty much urging the Niners to sign Jauan Jennings to a contract extension. He understands how important JJ is to this Niners offense too. He said it's extremely important to get him locked up. I obviously love JJ and what he brings to our team and to myself as a quarterback. We've had so much success together, and anytime you see something like this going on as a player, it's like, man, let's figure it out and figure something out so that we can get him back on the field and continue to do what we've done. I hope everything gets handled, but I would love for my guy to be out there on the field with me. Good job by Brock Purdy. He knows that JJ was on the receiving end of a lot of his passes last year. He's been on the receiving end of some huge throws throughout Purdy's short career, and he's sticking up for his wideout. He knows that he's trying to get that bag. Sticking with the wide receiver position that I mentioned, there's some question marks here. Will Demarcus Robinson get suspended? DUI arrest last November. Lynch said this is a league matter. It's not up to us. We'll see what the NFL does. And I thought this was pretty interesting. The Niners knew about this situation and that it could come to a suspension when they signed him in free agency. It was an affordable deal that they signed him to, and I like the player. More than 16 yards per catch last year, 7 touchdowns. He had more than 500 receiving yards with Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp hurt. I thought that he played well. He's been a winning player every year that he's been in the league. He's been to the playoffs. But if he's out the first few games, that also hurts this Niners offense, especially at the thin wide receiver position. This 49ers cutoff, thanks to our fine folks at Fanatics, still on sale. Was $55, now on sale for just $33. That's $22 off if you use that link down below. Chatsports.com/49ers cutoff. Get swagged up and enhance your Niners gear with your wardrobe prior to the start of the season. Now, this has gone under talked about, right? But Jauan Jennings going into the final year of his deal. He is paid below what his value has been to this football team. Colton McKivitz is also entering a dummy year. And with what the offensive tackle market has been and how much players have gotten paid, Colton McKivitz is probably underpaid with how he's performed with what the market currently is. Shanahan said, we'll do everything we can to make it work with McKivitz and Jauan Jennings, but it's not always easy. And it's not always easy. He is indeed right on that. The NFL salary cap has skyrocketed, especially each of the last few years. And with that, player contracts become more expensive. And we're at a point now where we're seeing record-breaking contracts on a consistent basis. Deommodore Lenoir, he did get arrested a few weeks ago, as we talked about here on the 49ers Report. It didn't seem like anything that was serious in nature. He didn't do anything wrong, or at least the penalty was very light. He spent overnight in jail and then got out the following morning. And I thought that whole situation was kind of odd. The Niners don't seem to be concerned either. We talked with Demo. John Lynch said, of course, we would prefer our players not get involved in those things. But I think that as a legal matter, it will work itself out. We've got a lot of faith in Demo, who he is as a person, and what he stands for. I mean, people have raved about who Deommodore Lenoir is on the field and off the field, and obviously on the field. He has Pro Bowl type of talent. Inside, outside, at that cornerback spot. He has given up just one touchdown in coverage the last 3 years. Here's a look at Christian McCaffrey reporting the training camp today. Kyle Shanahan saying that both him and Trent Williams are healthy, and they will manage McCaffrey's and Trent Williams' workload all throughout training camp. That's the smart play. You want them right for the start of the year, of course, but you want them healthy throughout the season, especially for a potential playoff run. Christian McCaffrey posted on Instagram yesterday, six-pack abs, looking jacked. He's 100% healthy, and hopefully the speed component to his game is still there. Brock Purdy, this is a photo of him reporting to Niners training camp today. And I got a funny Twitter response from somebody. I forget what their name is. I apologize for that, but thanks for interacting with me on Twitter. But the reply was, that doesn't look like a Toyota behind Brock Purdy. I saw another angle of this. It is a Toyota behind Brock Purdy. Company man and a sponsorship man. Ben Bartch, the Niners left guard. If he were healthy and the season were to start today, I think that he would start at left guard, but he's always hurt. This has been the case with him throughout his entire NFL career for the most part. He played 2 games last year, filling in for Aaron Banks. He played well. Then he got hurt again. He injured his quad away from the facility. That's why he landed on the non-football injury list. He's expected to be ready soon. Hopefully he can stay healthy, because I'm actually interested to see what he can do, what he's capable of in this Niners offense at that left guard spot. If it's not him, it's Nick Sakel, Connor Colby, maybe Spencer Burford, who the Niners have been working at offensive tackle. What Fred Warner said about D. Winters today, notable. He thinks that D. Winters, heading into a crucial year for him, is on the verge of a breakout. Warner really likes what he's seen from D. And I like D's playing style. Fast, physical, aggressive, intense, very spirited. He's had some lapses at times over pursuing. That's where the over-aggressiveness can really bite him. But last year, his coverage grade was good. I think that if he can continue to grow on that, if he can be a little bit better against the run, I'd like to see what Robert Saleh can do with him as a blitzer. He could lock down one of those starting linebacker roles for sure. If you enjoyed today's show, a news update right here on the Niners Report, give me a real one down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And our coverage, it's about to get real.